What is a giant set training system? Hi, I'm Hayley from Parallel Coaching, and in this video we're going to understand all about giant sets. And these are training systems that are advanced and you're likely to learn as part of your level 3 personal trainer qualification, as well as other qualifications and as a FITPRO implementing with your clients in your programming and instructing. So when you're looking at a giant set, we're going to understand the details of what it is, the adaptations that you need to make, how to program for one, and give you some examples today. But before I go into that, just know that you have 3 mock questions alongside this video to test your knowledge on all the information I'm going to give you today. All you need to do is scroll down if you're on our blog and you will see the questions underneath, or click the link that's with this video and it will take you straight there. So let's get started into the details of what a giant set is. You do need to know this is part of your level 3 PT, especially in part of the case study and understanding how to program it. In a nutshell, a giant set is 4 exercises back to back with no rest in between. However, these exercises need to target the same muscle rather than a specific area of the body. And that's a key differentiator. It's not saying, oh, it's my upper body or it's my lower body or it's my legs. Instead, it's one muscle. So it's just my pectoralis major and all 4 exercises will target that. Or it's just my triceps brachii. All 4 exercises will tackle that. It's just my quadriceps. All 4 exercises will tackle that muscle. So it has to be a specific muscle, not an overall area. Also, each exercise is to overload. It's not because we're doing 4 exercises back to back that it's at a easier level. Each exercise is to overload, and it allows for different angles and different levels of muscle fatigue and overload on each different types of angles that we might be doing inside the exercises. Now let's have a look at the benefits of using a giant set with your clients. First of all, it's a progression from a tri-set. And if you haven't already seen our video on what a tri-set is, you can click the link that is with this video and see the video that is available after today's as a suggested video next to watch. And that will be all about tri-sets. Also, it removes the rest, which means that you get a greater workout density. So for example, if I was to do 4 different exercises and those 4 exercises are on a multiple set, I've got a rest in between, which means that inside my same duration session, so 60-minute session or 45-minute session, I can get less sets in if I do multiple sets. If I do a giant set, I can take out the rest from in between each of those exercises and get more workout density, so more working out for the time frame of the overall session. Also, it's great for working through a plateau. So if your clients have hit a plateau and you need to shake it up and add some variation, things like adding a giant set can be a really good way of pushing their ability to fatigue later in the session. Also, it's great for fibre recruitment because you get multiple sets of overload inside one set. So you overload, let's just say the quadricep muscle, 4 times inside one giant set. Whereas in a multiple set, you would just overload it once before you rest. Also, it's great for endurance. And this is probably the biggest benefit for the giant set specifically. And even if the exercise is in hypertrophy range, so I do 10 reps of one exercise, 10 reps of another exercise, 10 reps of the next, 10 reps of the next, that's hypertrophy range. But even if I do that, I then am still doing 40 reps overall on my quadriceps, for example, which means that it's endurance. So you get something called hypertrophy endurance, whereby I'm in a hypertrophy rep range to overload, but I have to continue doing it for 40 reps, which is going to allow me to have greater levels of endurance and adaptation for an endurance goal. Now, in terms of an example, let's explore one for the chest. So for pectoralis major, all of the 4 exercises I'm going to give you now would work the pectoralis major. Press up, let's do it wide to start off with. Then we're going to do a bench press at the relevant weight for your 10 rep max. Pec fly for the relevant weight for a 10 rep max. And an incline press up, which is whereby your feet on the floor and your hands are on the bench to do 10 rep max. So you literally have divided them up. Each is 10 reps to overload. And as you go through them all, they are all working the same muscle, slightly different angles on the muscle, slightly different positions. It doesn't matter if they're compound, so multi-joint, or if they are isolation. Both work. Now let's have a look at some key considerations. There's 5 key considerations for how you're planning a giant set. First of all, space. Think about the space you have available. You don't want to basically be moving exercises from one side of the gym and running over to the other, because you need to be able to do it with no rest in between. So you want to be able to create yourself a little workout station that allows you to go from one to the other very quickly. So think about the availability of the equipment and how it's laid out in the space you're going to be using. Next is intro. Think about the introduction you're going to give your clients when you're teaching the giant set. Show them all 4 exercises as the introduction. Get them to try the exercises so you know their technique is good. Test them on a few different weights so that you know what resistance to use or what speed to use. And then from there, put it all together into one working set that they understand to go straight into each one. If you leave the introduction for each exercise after you've done it, they get a rest, which defeats the whole point of a giant set. So we want to do the intro of all 4 exercises up front. Next is order. You might change the order of the exercises according to what they find easy or hard already. So notice, for example, I put a press up first on my example for the chest. Then I went bench press, pec fly, but then I had an incline press up, which is technically a little bit easier because their chest is elevated and their feet are down. So it's a little bit easier against gravity, which means that they might find that an easier version compared to if I made them do a full press up at the end. So remember, they're going to be fatigued, and you might change that order around so there's the less risky ones, or the ones they find harder, at the beginning of the giant set. Then we've got ability. Consider the ability of your client. Really, the prerequisite for a giant set is to have done a tri-set or a superset, because we don't want to go from just having done 1 point of overload per set to now going to doing 4 points of overload per set. It's a big jump. Whereas you could go from a multiple set to a superset to a tri-set to a giant set, and you've got that regular sort of development through it over time. So consider the ability of your client, and it really is an advanced training system. And then finally, a reminder that it's all about the singular muscle. It's not about the body part or the area of the body. It's about that one singular muscle having that contraction over time, 4 different exercises, same muscle, overload on each one, no rest in between. And that is your giant set. So if you are working towards your level 3 personal trainer, or you're currently already qualified and need to recap this information and not really sure how to bring it all together into one plan, then definitely check out the links below and the information regarding our FITPRO 31 coaching program that brings all of that together so you know how to work with your clients effectively. But also check out our training system blogs for other things like trisets, supersets, pyramids, and understanding how to program these particular training systems. Remember, you've got 3 mock questions to go and test your knowledge as well. And I would love to hear in the comments below your examples of a giant set. So let me know an example for different muscles in the body so that we can check and see how you're learning. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.